Here we go, Craig. Well, we'll start with the e5. I might get a Ruy Lopez. Might get an Italian game, might get a Scotch game. What's it gonna be? It's gonna be something different, okay? This bishop will attack this pawn, it looks like. This could morph into a Kali Zukertort if he plays d3 later. Or he could follow up with d4, I suppose. Anyway, I'm just going to attack this pawn. He can attack my pawn in turn. I will defend it. He will defend his pawn. I guess. Let's see what he's got in mind. And welcome to the stream, everybody. Nice to have you here. First game, so you're right at the start. He just defended his pawn. So I'm going to defend mine as well. Hello, Timo. Good to see you. I hope I have less blind spots. Yeah, we'll see. I didn't sleep all that well, so sometimes that's a harbinger of bad news. Now, if I go out here and he kicks my bishop and I go back and around, I'm just aiming at this pawn here, which is well defended. So I think I'll just castle, let him prevent the pin if he wants to. And then I'm going to play my bishop to d6 and maybe try to push the d pawn. So he pushes the d pawn first. And he did go with d4 eventually. After starting out with d3 like a Kali Zukertort, he followed up with d4. So it's a little bit slow, I guess. Let's see, he's threatening to take this bishop and I want to keep it, I guess. So let's take the knight. Then now, what do I do? I could kick his bishop, leave me with a weak pawn here. Could play a6 or b6. I just want to be able to move my rook. Let's start with a6. That way it's not a target when I move the rook. And I'll put the rook on the c file here. So I can play c5 and then c4, maybe. Maybe I have to play b5 first. Because there's also the knight on that square. I have a bishop and a rook. He's got a knight and a bishop and a pawn. So I might need a pawn here to help me out. So he is aggressively going after my bishop here, it looks like. That's what I get for not trading it. So I can move here and attack his queen and then come back around. But it looks like it defeats the purpose of my c5 move. Thank you, Bug Kitten. Let's see. So I play c5 and he plays f5. I would take his bishop and he would take mine. So that would be pretty even. I would even get a pawn at the end, but I would have doubled pawns. So he would probably move his bishop. Then I could play again. Then if he plays f5, I could take his bishop on d3. He takes mine. I take this pawn. He could take a pawn with check. Take back. Yeah, I think it's playable. I just wanted to take advantage of this position of the bishop rather than having to move it in response to the threat of the pawns here. Because it makes sense of my rook placement. Oh, what? Oh, I didn't play b5 first. That's why. That was the problem. Yeah. I did all that. So I guess that answers your question about blind spots. And now if I play b5 now, it's not going to help. I do have this. Okay. Well, that was a happy accident. That was because of the pawn push. So it makes the pawn push look like a clever idea. So yeah, it was a good idea. And I didn't need to play b5. In fact, b5 would have prevented that. But it would have allowed me to take the pawn back. But a piece is better than a pawn, so. So now he kicks my bishop. Where do I want to go? I just drop back, I guess. I can put it on c6 here. He can put his rook on b1 and chase my queen away, which is a little uncomfortable. But he's not doing that. He's more focused on the king side. So this protects my pawn and pins his pawn. So I think it's a good move. So he steps aside to unpin. Now that pin here means that this knight is not defended by the pawn, and this pawn is not defended by the pawn, but nothing is attacking the pawn, and the knight is defended in other ways. How do I follow up here? Be nice to get the center pawn. Okay, so now I don't have to worry about the don't have to worry about that pin. Maybe I can drop my bishop back here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I think I outnumber him, but my queen is leading, which is not the most comfortable position to be in. So knight takes is possible now, right? Knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes. And that would leave this pawn a little weaker. Eliminate some of his attacking force. Actually, maybe I should do bishop takes, then rook takes, and keep the knight over here for defense. Unless he trades rooks, in which case I probably will not need so much defense. And the knight can drop back. Okay, so we do it now. He doubles rooks. And pins whatever piece I put there. I take, he doubles. I could just drop back and defend the bishop. And if he takes, I'll take with the rook. I could just drop back and defend the rook with the bishop, I mean. And as I said, yeah, we'll just trade rooks here. Yeah, I could put my queen here, and then that would support knight fork. Looks pretty good. It would have to be give up the exchange and it'd be attacking with just a queen, and since it's with check, he has to do this first. He's attacking with just a queen and a knight. I don't think it's gonna work. And if he moves the queen, then I can checkmate him, or close to checkmate. Yeah, maybe it's a checkmate. But only if he moves the queen. Yeah, so he's setting up mate threats. Let's set up some threats of our own here. A simple threat here would lead to mate. And bishop covers this square, which is his checkmating square. So he moved the knight. Yeah, I can just take it. And he timed out. All right, so we start off with a win. That's always good. Here we go. Let's see. New game. Let's see. Got a queen's pawn opening. Maybe we'll get a Nimzo Indian. Yes, we get a Nimzo Indian. So he kicks it right away. This is the same-ish variation. This is a funny move. He sacrificed this pawn to get tripled pawns here. He doesn't take. I guess everybody's wise to that trick now. I think I will just lock things up in the center here if he pushes. Usually they keep the tension. But if he takes, I can take back with the bishop. If he doesn't take, I can push and have a locked up center. And I can bring the knight around to defend this knight. Castle, kick the bishop. I think it's okay. He's got a weak pawn here. I might target later, but not at first. That is a line where they immediately go after this pawn, but I don't like to do that so much. I like to play more on the king side. But it's a weakness you can keep in mind. So we wanted to bring this knight here so that when I kick the bishop, I don't have to move this yet. I want to kick the bishop now. It's defended by my bishop. Eventually I want to play b6, but I don't have to right away. So I can kick that bishop again and then take this pawn. He never defended it. So I don't have to move my bishop my knight right away. I could bring this knight over here, which I think is a good idea. Another idea would be to put a bishop here and threaten the queen. So he beats me to it. Let's take the bishop. then step up. Want to defend this pawn, want to bring the rook over if necessary. But I have the extra piece over here, so queen here, pawn here. Now I can push the pawn, and if he puts a piece there, I can take it. Oh, he just steps back. That's interesting. Okay, well now let's threaten to win the queen with the check here. A check and bishop takes queen. Because he's got to move his king or something in response to that check. So he moves his king ahead of time. Now there's a knight check here and here. This one is defended. This one is defended. Okay, so here's an idea. I play this pawn, he takes, and then it's just treated as a sacrifice because I can take this one with check. I had to support it first because I didn't want him taking with the rook. So the only way I can take that pawn is with the pawn, and then I can grab this pawn with check. Chase his king out of the square, and I can threaten his queen. In fact, yeah, the only place the king can go is here. And then I can push the pawn with check. So that is fatal. And he resigned. Yeah, let's put that on the analysis board in case you don't see it. It's king d2 is the only move. No other legal move. And then e3 check. So it's a check, and the queen is under attack, and the king has to respond. He can take the pawn, or he can take it this way, or he can move the king. Probably moving the king back to keep the queen defended is the best, but then you win the queen. So that was the tactic that he saw too. But too late. Let's go back, get another game. All right, pretty good start. Okay, Mr. Stupinko, Stupinko. So they often take this pawn in exchange for this pawn, but it's kind of weird if you ask me. To give up a center pawn for a flank pawn. I mean, why would you do that? So he's going with the all-out pawn attack on the queen side here, huh? That is funny. Let's see, I could play... yeah, he's discouraged me from playing knight to c6 because the knight would have to move. But I could go here. Yeah, let me get a bishop in play first. Then see, the knight could go from here to here to here, supported by the bishop. Could also go here. The hurricane missed you. Oh, that's good. That's good. You live in southern Florida? Orangutan busted. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I think, well, he didn't have to blunder like that. But even here, it's probably pretty bad. -7. See, here it's -0.2, so it's about even here. I was worried he might go after the bishop. Ah, so yeah, I could play the knight check here, or I could play the bishop here. Interesting. Interesting computer line, but it says I'm better. Only -7. Looked higher. Yeah. Well, he wasted all these moves moving these pawns, so he knew there had to be something wrong with that.